So here's my video, which I'm doing as a follow-up to my previous one about my community tour experience. This is going to dive in a little bit more in depth into the various weapons, especially the new ones, and the balance between the Gnasher and the sawed-off shotgun. And it will also be covering the new game modes, Domination and TDM. Overrun is such a complex subject, I'm actually going to devote a whole separate video to it, just so that I can do it justice. So let's look at the new game modes first here. So Domination is basically King of the Hill with 3 rings instead of 1, and they don't move. And so they're labeled A, B, and C, so you know where they all are at all times. And since you have 3 rings and you get one point per second per ring you have controlled, both teams are continually gaining points. So that winds up with both teams are usually continually adding points, but one team's adding points at a slightly faster rate than the other, or they're doing it equally as they're both fighting over the one hill in the middle while they each have one controlled. And it does make the games turn out a little bit closer towards the end. But one of the big things which I was a little bit disappointed in is it lost some of the clutch factor that King of the Hill had. When there's only a single ring and the other team needs a single point to win the game, you can still, through amazing determination, hang on by your toenails in King of the Hill and manage to deny them for maybe even a full 100 seconds. I have had some really unlikely comebacks before in King of the Hill games in situations like that. But in Domination, if you're down, say, 30 or 40 seconds when the final timer of doom starts ticking off the seconds until the enemy team wins, you're in big trouble because you have to block them out of all the points at once. And it was really difficult to organize that with the teams that we had there because you were just sitting next to the next random guy in the queue and you can maybe talk to him, but half the people didn't even care or listen to you. And so that's something that'll probably improve when you're actually playing online with friends. Of course, this added difficulty could turn out to be a pretty good thing, especially for the more competitive teams or the more organized players, as it would make it that much more thrilling to stage the comeback, given how clutch you'd have to be at every different point all at once, and really relying on your teammates. So it could make that win just that much more sweet. So right now I'm pretty much neutral about whether or not this is better than King of the Hill. Each one has its points and things that are good for it. I really like King of the Hill's simplicity, and that you can jump in and know exactly where you need to go at all times. But on the other side of the coin, the complexity of having the 3 rings, but with the static locations, is going to allow a lot more strategizing and creative ways to approach the game, especially with the more organized and elite teams. So I can really see this game mode as being the go-to mode for clan battles, especially until Execution comes out. I have some good news about TDM. You are able to experience exactly how the TDM will play right now. Go to your Xbox, stick in your Halo 4 disc, load up Halo 4, and play a match or team deathmatch. And you have successfully completed a very similar experience to the Gears of War Judgment TDM mode. A lot of people have been erroneously comparing Gears of War Judgment with Call of Duty and Halo 4, but this is one mode where the criticism is spot on. It plays almost exactly like a Halo 4 TDM match, and that's because it is a kill goal instead of a life limit that decides how the round ends. And this really dramatically changes how the round plays out, especially in the end game. So at the end of my game, the one TDM game I played, my team was down towards the end. And we were trying to, at least couples were trying to impress on our teammates the need to be conservative and conserve your lives because we only have a couple deaths left. But unfortunately, with no respawn limit, you can't stop that one guy from going out and dying. And so I managed to get a really nice stockpile of weapons. I had a Bushka launcher, some flame nades, and a Gnasher shotgun. I felt like if it was a Gears 3 elimination last stand, I could have taken a whole bunch of them with me, or maybe had a chance to clutch it. But the announcer goes off and says 1 life left, and you just can't stop that last guy. And he went all Juliet on us, and went charging out and took a bayonet right to the breast. And that was it. It was pretty sad. So I'm thinking right now TDM is probably going to be my least played mode. But at least the other modes, Overrun and Domination, are pretty awesome. And once Execution comes out, I think those will keep me busy for a good long time. And of course you have Free-for-All. So I only had a limited amount of time playing the game, obviously, and so I didn't get all the weapons. You get to play with all the new weapons. But here's the ones I did get to play with. The Bushka launcher, it is pretty awesome. It definitely on par with the boom shot. At first I kept trying to bounce around corners and land at people's feet like it was a boom shot, but the delay timer on the explosion makes it pretty hard to get kills that way. It turns out by far the best way to use a weapon is just to shoot people in the face. It detonates immediately upon impact with their body, and so you have a 3-shot grenade launcher that is a 1-shot kill if it connects. An overall very solid weapon. The marks I only used for about 1 life. I basically wiped out a spawn, zoomed in someone long range, and then got by in the back by someone using an Asher. And so I don't really have a definitive answer on that weapon at all. But I can say that the breach shot is completely awesome. So it is basically a 4-shot bolt-lock pistol, which is a little slower at its rate of fire, but has a single-shot headshot capability, and is best used at the same range as a bolt-lock. Medium range, it is devastating, and you can even use it up close because of the fact that if you miss your shot, you can still switch to your shotgun very quickly with the faster weapon swaps. So you can wipe out just about the entire enemy team with 1 clip. And I know I'm going to be having a foot race to it immediately out of spawn on any maps that it's on. So the Vulcan cannon is basically a tornado of death. If you just look at someone, they die. An unbelievable rate of fire and ability to wipe out the entire enemy team in about 2 seconds. So if this weapon is on the map, you want it. I really only use 2 grenade types, the frags and the stem grenades. Frag grenades, they're pretty self-explanatory. You toss them next to someone, they blow up. Although in this game there's a little wrinkle, you can stick them to the enemy if it hits them directly. The stem grenade I found really interesting. It's not quite as much of a defensive grenade as you would think. But the way I used it most of the time was I threw it where I was going to be fighting and then charged out there. It makes a great tool for pushing someone if they're in a good position. You can throw the stem grenade right on the approach path, and you're nearly invulnerable to their pop shots as you rush in on them. So there's going to be a lot of strategy built around this grenade type, and I found that to be very, very useful. So one thing which I made sure to do was I played with both the sawed-off shotgun and the Nasher shotgun pretty extensively, so I could see how they have changed from their Gears 3 incarnations and how they compared to each other. The Nasher shotgun is basically the same shotgun that is in Gears 3. The only difference is they said the fire rate is a hair slower. I really did not notice it. Same spread, same damage, same awesome gun. The sawed-off is the one that has really changed. Basically, it has the same spread and the same damage as the Nasher shotgun, but it only has 2 shots, and it fires both shots very quickly. You can literally fire with them almost right on top of each other as fast as you can pull the trigger. So, and of course, but then once the 2 shots are gone, you have to reload. The reload isn't as painfully long as it is in Gears 3, but it's still significant. And once you pop those 2 shots off, you had better have killed them, otherwise you're going to have to do some severe juking. So the effect that this has on the overall shotgun balance of the game is that at least you aren't going to be killed by someone who just walks up next to you, and if you were on their screen, you will die if they pull the trigger. And that's a huge improvement. I really like that. But the thing is that I think good players who are really solid shots are going to go to town with a sawed-off shotgun. Because once they get you in 2-shot range, if they can land both shots on you really fast, you're done. So, again, in a 1v1 situation, I have a suspicion that the sawed-off shotgun might have a little bit of an advantage. The Nasher is definitely by far the better choice whenever you're wading into a whole room of people and need to take a bunch of them down. You know, obviously the 8-shot clip and the fact that you're already used to the cadence and the juking that goes with the Nasher, you know, made it the shotgun I did better with. So my main worry with the sawed-off shotgun is that people might use it as a even worse corner camping than the one they had before, where you had to get right up on the corner before they could pop you. Now they could conceivably lurk on the corner and then pop out when you're in 2-shot range and get both those shots on you super fast before you can respawn. So that is a danger I can see with the shotgun. But the good news is that there's not nearly as many corners for people to camp on in Judgment, and there's a whole lot more alternate routes to go into rooms. So there you have my thoughts and my perspectives on the weapons I was able to use and the game types I was able to play. And I'm really going to try to get that overrun video together for you guys so you have a little bit of a leg up with the strategy when the demo drops next week. It's only 6 days until the demo drops, so I'm super stoked for it. I'll see you guys there.